It started with, I want to make something cool out of wood. One of the biggest things is remembering the steps that you have to do to make the machine work. And I wanted to try everything that I could get my hands on. We make mistakes, but sometimes the wood chips out in a weird way. I find that Starbond is perfect for that. They want to be able to fix something in 30 seconds, not have to wait, like that just makes sense. I've always been active outdoors, and I started woodworking in Colorado, which is, a very outdoor space. It's kind of, mountain biking and climbing and running and hiking mountains and things. So that kind of spirit in general tends to lead you to new and unexplored places. And the same, it kind of transferred over to woodworking for me. I took the unconventional route where instead of narrowing down on one specific thing, I wanted to try everything from learning the CNC machine to joinery or epoxy. All of those things have led me in a ton of different places, but it's also given me a lot of creativity and exposure to a lot of different things and more importantly, different challenges that you would have within woodworking and the skills that are required for that. So the first thing that I made as a woodworker that I'm proud of was a crib for my little boy. When we found out we were having a baby, I kind of went into my garage and basically took out my tools and started figuring out how to use them and made a crib for him. So it was made out of plywood and had a few things cut on the CNC machine. Yeah, it worked for the first year or so that we had him. I wanted to try everything that I could get my hands on, from learning the programming side of CNC machines, creating 3D objects, to studying joinery and fine woodworking techniques. And you sort of very quickly realize that it's a long journey. You can't learn everything and be really good at it immediately. So all these years later, I feel like me trying all these different things has really impacted how I look at projects that customers bring me. Instead of maybe just one solution that I've learned, I try to think outside the box. I try to incorporate as many different skills as I can. And one of those things was the rock climbing product that I made during the pandemic. All of the stores and the local gyms and even some of the outdoor climbing areas shut down or were closed, or they quickly sold out of products that rock climbers, generally want to have. And one of those things is a hangboard, which is just a simple device that you hang above your door, and you can hang and stretch out the ligaments in your hands and your fingers. Each day you do a little bit more until you can hold yourself up with one or two fingers, like some of those people out there love to do. So that was a good product that incorporated CNC, woodworking, epoxy, finishing techniques, and mass production to some extent. So it was a great foray or endeavor for me to get into. For me, the CNC started small. It started with, I want to make something cool out of wood. I wanted to cut things in specific shapes, which is like a weird way to start. Buying an expensive machine first is typically not the way you'll go. You'll get a circular saw, you'll get a table saw first. And I kind of started with this very complicated machine, but ultimately as you learn it, now that I'm a seasoned operator, there's a few things that I would say can really break the barrier for, getting an expensive machine and then making it seem easier than it really is. You really just have to dive in. You have to start by having the software and poking around on the computer, thinking as what you're making on the computer as an extension of what you're about to carve on the machine. Start small with shapes and dishes and letters and things, and progress with each project. One of the biggest things is remembering the steps that you have to do to make the machine work. Everything in a wood shop is essentially a some form of a chisel, whether it's a circular saw blade that has a bunch of chisels on a circle, to an actual hand chisel, to the CNC machine, which is a router bit that spins really fast with little chisel blades on them. So you learn a lot about which wood cuts really easily. You learn about how deep you can cut and how fast you can cut. And all of these things add up to a bunch of steps and a checklist that goes through my head every time I turn it on. I think it's an invaluable thing to have in a wood shop or any maker space, because it opens doors for things that might have a higher barrier for entry. Even cutting a three-dimensional sphere or a shape out of wood can be very difficult. And to allow this type of thing quickly and repeatably on a CNC machine, it adds a lot of value, and it's quick. You can be doing other things while it's being run at the same time. I also highly recommend having an open mind to learning, and it's a constant learning. Every project, you have some sort of detail, whether it's in your control. Most times, often than not, we make mistakes, but sometimes the wood chips out in a weird way. It was one of the first things recommended to me by an even more seasoned woodworker that encouraged me to do things, and I would do the same, because having the ability to create a bond between two pieces of wood in 30 seconds or less, quickly and repeatably, is really important. Take, for example, the CNC machine. If I need to fix something to the surface of the CNC, I can easily use Starbond, take a few drops, tack it around the edge of my workpiece, spray the applicator, and it's fixed. It's not coming off. And then I can machine anything I want, which is huge, because you can't always clamp things to a table. Sometimes you have to glue it on there to make sure you're going to get it done. So I love it for that. I love it for live edge wood, fixing holes and knots that were cracks and filling things in. It's just so easy to use across the boards. The ability to quickly glue a piece back on and throw some sawdust in there to mix it and make it almost invisible. So you're going to make mistakes, and you want a product that can help you fix that quickly. I find that Starbond is perfect for that. And a good example is, like, my son got this dragon egg, and one of the ears on the dragon fell off, and I can easily just tack it back on with Starbond, and then he's right back playing with it. So I think if people knew how quick you could fix your kids' toys with just a simple pack of Starbond clear, I've saved 5 things in the last 2 months that they've broken just by gluing a little piece back on, and then they're so happy about it. So this is what fathers want. They want to be able to fix something in 30 seconds and not have to wait, that just makes sense. So